The SkyBolt 6 is one of the most important Studebaker engines of all time. The SkyBolt 6 is the last Studebaker six-cylinder engine that was offered in their vehicles. The engine was a replacement for the venerable flathead six-cylinder engine that had been used in many Studebaker applications. Previously, in the 1950s, Studebaker had absorbed Packard Motor Company with their engine facility in Detroit. The merger was unsuccessful. Packard and Studebaker were kind of like what many enthusiasts and former employees called as like two drunks trying to cross the road. Neither company was sound enough or financially viable enough to make a go at a combined company. The hope was to combine the two companies together to utilize the economies of scale, share development and manufacturing costs, and have better access to working capital. The pairing was not successful, which left both companies worse off. The Studebaker and Packard company culture and products were too different from each other. This led to many issues and recalls. By the late 1950s, Studebaker was struggling quite hard. The embarrassment of the Studebaker-Packard merger caused them to get rid of the Packard name, and the company was returned to just the name of Studebaker Corporation. It was a bitter defeat for both companies. However, in the late 1950s and early 1960s, Studebaker pioneered the small car market for the United States with the Studebaker Lark. The Studebaker Lark proved to be a hot seller, and people wanted a small compact car that operated and functioned well. The Lark was a financial success, and it brought the company back to profitability. But after its initial release, the Lark captured the market, but then other automakers got into the small car business as well. Their cars were selling well too. These other automotive companies had more working capital for development costs, and the lineup was starting to show its age. The Studebaker flathead engine, which had been introduced for many years in different variants since 1939, was causing customers to walk away from buying the Lark. Studebaker badly needed new engine technology for their outdated engine. Studebaker already had a V8 that was an overhead valve design. The engine was popular and well received by customers, but on their base model vehicles, applications, the 170 cubic inch flathead engine was no longer providing enough power or efficiency for the buying public. Studebaker's lack of a six-cylinder overhead valve engine was causing them to lose sales to the competitive big three automakers such as Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Studebaker, another issue that they had, was a total lack of cash to develop an expensive new cylinder head and engine block. They needed both a quick solution and economical solution. If something wasn't done, their vehicles were going to be out of date for the 1960s, which was a decade when new technology was creating all sorts of possibilities. So now you know their problem. So how did they fix it? According to Hemmings.com, Studebaker began with an investigation on how to improve their six-cylinder engine to breathe better. They determined that larger valve size was needed. The inlet port was increased from 31.75 millimeters to 34.925 millimeters. This increased the horsepower from 92 to 101. The next change was to the compression ratio. The revised inline engine was increased to a 8.1 to 1 compression ratio. A new manifold, camshaft, and engine oil pump were also developed. The most important part of the story is actually the Packard lineage. The tooling for this new cylinder head actually came from surplus Packard equipment. The old Packard engine headline equipment had been kept in storage by Studebaker Packard after the closure of the Packard plants in Detroit and Utica, Michigan. The Packard head line was adapted for this new project. By this time in the 1960s, the Packard name was dead, but this was perhaps the last gasp of the once treasured and beloved Packard Automotive Company. The new engine increased efficiency by nearly 45% when it was fitted with the optional overdrive manual transmission over the previous year model. The new engine went into production for the 1961 model of Larks. In a road test from Motor Trend in 1961, the difference in performance from the old flathead engine was said to be so good that this new engine was the best Studebaker six-cylinder engine that they had ever produced and put in the Lark vehicles.